coming up on Grady Newsource. Oh, 1 second. Watch out for calls like this. They may be more dangerous than you think.
And with a dozen more call boxes on campus, does this make UGA feel more safer?
And UGA baseball kicks off their season this Friday with the new $4.5 million baseball facility renovations, including a new pitching lab and a new hitting tunnel. UGA baseball predicts to bring in some big wins this year.
And a bill being pushed through the Georgia State Legislature that will keep firearms safe from children. These stories and more on Grady Newsource at 5.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Thanvi Gujral, and this is Grady Newsource. We're starting off the top of the hour with the situation on safety. My co-anchor Alana Jacob is joined in the newsroom with Anna Shogren, DeAndre Harris, and Rachel Sandstrom. They have more on what the community is doing to combat scammers, UGA on-campus violence, and youth accessibility to guns. Over to you, Alana.
Thanks, Tavi. Yes, I'm here with our field reporters for the Sitch on Safety. Anna, let's start with you. Barrow County scam calls. I know my mom, who lives over in Fulton County, has been getting some interesting scam calls, but it's happening over in Barrow County too. What should people look out for?
Yes, Alana. So the Barrow County Sheriff's Office has been making a lot of social media posts warning people about these spam calls where scammers are trying to rob people of their money. This afternoon, I actually went to the Barrow County Senior Citizen Center and spoke to some of them. They are a large target due to their vulnerability. I knew it was an issue when they started coming up to me asking to check if their phones were hacked. So I have more on the story here.
It sounds real good, cheap rent and all that stuff, but I don't know if it's true or not. And I'm scared to get into because it might be a scam.
Joanne Reyes and her daughter lived together in a Barrow County home. While her daughter was discussing an offer on a house with someone she believed to be a realtor, the situation quickly took a turn for the worse.
But when she called the bank called her back saying, were you trying to get money? And they recognized the name or something like that. So she got out of that scam, thank God.
Senior citizens are a large target amongst the scammers because of their vulnerability, often using emotion to convince them to send over money.
Said they were demanding money for the chirps or something like that. I didn't want to do anything because I didn't know it was true or not.
Joanne Reyes told me she even faced a scam trying to get her dream Yorkie puppy.
And it was like a different person, but asking the same questions, showing the same puppies and everything, so I knew it was a scam.
One couple, the Vehars, told me they experienced scam calls every day. They thought they were getting cheaper insurance as a senior citizen, but ended up in muddy waters. They received a letter in the mail addressed from the Federal Bureau of Investigation warning Bernardo Vehar that his identity is under watch of theft.
And it was like a really long letter saying who wanted to find out more, blah, blah, blah.
Due to scam paranoia, and rightfully so, the couple didn't even know if that was real.
So we didn't want to move in anything because, we don't know.
This morning, Sergeant Dominic Smith told me that law enforcement, judges, or the clerk's office will never ask for payments over the phone, and warrants cannot be dismissed with electronic payments. Scammers often operate overseas using untraceable devices. And since many victims don't have social media, he urged the community to help spread the word and report any suspicious calls. And remember to trust your gut. If it sounds too good to be true, it just might be.
I wanted a Yorkie so much, and it sounded so good, and then to find out when she started asking all this,
Rachel, you spoke to Representative Michelle Au, who sponsored the Pediatric Health Safe Storage Bill, which aims to keep firearms out of the hands of children. What can you tell us about that conversation?
Yeah, thanks, Alana. So gun safety has been really a big topic of conversation, especially after the Appalachia High School shooting. That's very local to us. You know, it's only 30 minutes down the road. So I spoke to Representative Au about what their plans are in the Georgia State Legislature, and she told me the Pediatric Health Safe Storage Bill is, if it passes, that means that it'll keep guns out of reach of children. It'll make sure that guns are stored safely. So I talked to her and another gun shop owner, Ross Myers, and here's more on the story.
So just part of this law is not so much to focus on punishing people who do not store their guns securely, but to create a common expectation of what safe storage looks like.
Ross Myers, owner of gun store Bunker Munitions, explains what the safe storage of a firearm should look like.
And I store mine locked in a fireproof cabinet. The only firearm I own that is not locked in that manner is one that I keep by my bedside, and it's what's called a biometric safe.
Representative Al says this bill focuses not just on mass shootings, but smaller firearm incidents as well.
But you cannot watch the local news any given week or any given weekend without seeing a smaller story about a child who has accessed a gun and used it to accidentally injure themselves or a family member or a sibling.
Myers says his top priority when he sells a gun is making sure his customers know how to store their guns safely.
Pride in, if it's a first-time gun owner, somebody that isn't quite sure what they're doing, I provide those chamber locks for free at no charge to the customer to give to them along with a pamphlet, and just go over the safety protocols of the firearms.
My goal is that this will be less of a pervasive problem, and I won't have to say anymore that gun violence is the #1 cause of death of kids and teenagers in this country. I would like that statistic to be outdated.
Here at Grady Newsource, we'll continue to give you updates on the safe storage bill. DeAndre, we know that since last February, President Moorhead has backed millions of dollars of investments to keep campus safe here at UGA. There's been more updates. What can you tell us about those?
Yeah, Lana, more updates. So over the last 9 years, UGA has put in over $25 million to keep the campus safe. Recently, they just put in $1.7 million to add more things on campus, like the new call boxes that are all throughout campus. So now they're on the east side of campus, down by the intramural fields. They're going to be more putting on the north side of campus, south side of campus, more so where those dorms are, where your classrooms are, and in those parking decks. They're also extending transit hours. So the bus system is being extended longer hours of the day. For those who have late classes, we have campus ambassadors. For those who are, if you feel unsafe leaving your class or leaving the library, and you feel unsafe, you can call on the campus ambassadors. And that's all through the UGA Safe app. And I have more for you up next.
Thanks.
With one press of that button, you know emergency services is on the way to help. Soon the number of call boxes will double to about 50 placed around UGA's campus.
I want my girlfriend, of course, because she has a class late at night, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and she could walk home. I pick her up, because I do not feel comfortable with her, you know, being on campus and walking all the way through campus just to get home. I don't think that's safe at all.
The university plans to implement more fencing, campus safety ambassadors, transit operations, and more cameras around campus to ensure campus safety. UGA President Jerry Moorhead says enhanced safety and years of investments are vital needs to incorporate on campus.
The safety and well-being of our campus community has remained a consistent priority, demonstrated by significant investments in the past 8 years. During that time, UGA invested more than $23 million.
That investment and other safety concerns are very vital, but Reagan still keeps her safety in her own hands. Reagan states that safety starts with her.
I think I would feel unsafe around places that don't have a lot of people, but I usually don't venture past, general campus.
$7 million initiative. This is supposed to make UGA feel safer. I'm DeAndre Harris, Grady Newsource.
DeAndre, Rachel, Anna, thank you. This has been our Sitch on Safety. Back to you, Tanvi.
Thank you, Rachel, Anna, and DeAndre. And if you want more tips on how to protect yourself from scammers, go to GradyNewsSource.com for a list. The search for a new police chief continues in Commerce tonight. Lieutenant Brian Hall. Lieutenant Hall is stepping into the interim chief position at the moment. Lieutenant Hall has spent 11 years at the police department. This comes after former police chief Ken Harmon stepped down 2 weeks ago after serving the city for over 2 decades. The sheriff's office is asking anyone who can line the streets of Danielsville and Hull at 12 p.m. this Valentine's Day to do so. The Sheriff's Department is having a memorial procession in honor of former Sheriff's investigator Doug Martin. Martin died from a heart issue this previous week. His funeral service will be held this Friday at 2 p.m.
He was investigated with us here. He's been here since '98, and he worked sex crimes against children. So he has a lot of ongoing cases that he was still actively working at the time.
Following the Appalachia High School shooting in Barrow County last September, a local man faces potentially new fate. We will be back after this break.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Beginning in 2 weeks' time, Jackson County voters will have a chance at the ballot box to renew or vote down an education-based sales tax slated to build 3 new schools there. Joining us live in the studio to discuss the vote is reporter Gunter Schroeder. Gunter, what are you hearing from the county officials?
Yeah, Jackson County is growing fast, so fast that the county student body's growth is the fastest growing in the state, a 40% increase in just the last 6 years. That means more people and more school-aged children, and that means a need for more schools. But if voters choose to renew an education special purpose local option sales tax, or ESPLOST for short, parents throughout the county should see their tax dollars going towards improving their children's education experience.
And so, we built 2 new schools in 2 years, and the proposal that the Board of Education has is to build 3 new schools in the Houston area, along with making renovations and upgrades to all of our current facilities. We seek a lot of input on what needs to be done and what people want, while always monitoring the growth and then planning Jackson County for 50 years ahead. We're building facilities that are, hopefully going to be here for 50 years.
The expansion plans made an impression on many throughout the county, including Dawn Maddox, Jefferson's District 2 city representative, who has children in Jefferson City schools. But she was still impressed by the plans Jackson County school officials had to provide opportunities for those interested in trades.
25, 30 years ago, the pendulum swing was, you've got to have this college education. If you're not going to be anywhere in school. And we've seen society fall short in demand for workers. And there's a lot of kids that don't want to go to a 4-year school, and Jackson County is moving ahead in preparing a way for their students to learn other things, to learn trades, and I think that's fantastic.
Hooper also added that as more people continue moving into Jackson County for small town life, their goal is to provide a smaller class environment to ensure every Jackson County child gets a great education. Gunter Schroeder, Grady Newsource. Back to Tunvi and Alana at the desk.
Thanks, Gunter. It's Student Volunteer Week, yet students are among the lowest percentage of all volunteer age groups, except in Oconee County. Grady Newsource reporter Erin Pegenkoff explains what makes the difference there.
Take a look at this wall. It highlights volunteers from Extra Special People, or ESP,
a nonprofit that works with people with disabilities and their families out of Watkinsville and thrives on student volunteers.
The students make up such a big and special part of our workforce, whether it's our volunteers or our interns. I think the students just can relate more to our participants maybe. That's why they create those special interpersonal experiences, which is at the end of the day what we strive to do.
5.4% of Americans ages 15 to 24 volunteered on an average day in 2022, the lowest among all age groups. But organizations in Oconee County see a difference.
Starts with getting to know them, knowing their name, making sure that when they're here, the experience that they're having is a fun and a safe one, and just making sure that they feel known.
The Oconee County Art Foundation is another organization open to volunteers. They sympathize with busy students.
When you're a student, you do have that time crunch because you have homework, you have classes, you've got a lot of things pulling on you. So it helps when organizations are clear of this is exactly what I need you for and when, so that you can sign up, you can know what you're getting yourself into, and then you can fit that into your day.
Organizations like the Oconee County Art Foundation and ESP are a couple of the many in Oconee County who welcome volunteers, no matter the age. Aaron Pegenkoff, Grady Newsource.
UGA Baseball is stepping up their game day experience. They're boasting brand new facilities. Tanvi, you'll have more after the break.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason. Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
The Dutch. Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Calling all baseball fans, the team is ready to kick off the season this Friday with facility renovations, including a new pitching lab, hitting tunnel, and other amenities. Former UGA baseball student manager Smaran Ramanathan tells us how the new facility will improve the team's performance.
Days like today when it's raining outside, you need an indoor facility that will be able to suffice everyone and you can still get a quality and efficient practice out of it. So I think the hitting lab and pitching lab are two big things.
With our baseball team hitting home runs, so are some of you. Stay tuned to hear our UGA Marriage Pact updates later tonight. It feels like it's a season of love to me, but Alana will be back after the break bringing you the 5-day forecast.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome back from the break and to your 5-day weather report. Okay, I probably didn't need to wear my rain jacket inside, but you'll need to wear yours when you step outside today. Temperatures are reaching a high of 42 and a low of 39, and there are intense showers. Tomorrow we'll see an early morning shower, but skies will clear up a bit throughout the day. We'll see a rise in temperatures up to 60 degrees, but it's going to get a little cold as temperatures drop to 29 degrees. Moving forward to Friday, we'll finally see some sunny skies. It's almost like Mother Nature knew that Valentine's Day was here. The high will be 55 and low will be 27 degrees, but we may see some raindrops later that night. There will be some weekend showers on Saturday and Sunday if you have a long weekend this weekend. Saturday temperatures will reach 49 degrees with a low of 44, and Sunday temperatures we'll see a high of 60 and a low of 26. Back to you. Oh, did you fill out the marriage pact UGA sent out? Well, we will have more information for you and students are saying on what students are saying about after this break.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Girl Scouts have made a reappearance on UGA's campus at Tate Plaza this week. This is not the year to be a lousy boyfriend. Girls don't want flowers, they want Thin Mints and Samoas.
I feel like this is the perfect gift for if you're in a situationship. You know, you're not that deep yet, not enough for some roses, but you can definitely get that special someone something.
Speaking of situationships, 2025 is not the year for uncertainty. It's time to think about marriage. Get that ring by spring. UGA Marriage Pact is here to help you find your boo.
So over 4,000 UGA students filled out a detailed questionnaire in hopes of getting matched with another student. One of our reporters, Jack Keys, actually found a Marriage Pact boo, but he didn't have any luck pursuing it.
Let's see if anyone on campus found any real success stories or any not so success stories.
Excuse me. Did you do the UGA Marriage Pact?
I did.
And? Any boos?
No. Yeah,
Next
no.
time.
Next time.
Did you do the UGA Marriage Pact?
No, I did not.
Are you not looking for your next boo?
I already have one.
Okay, he's not lonely. Why?
I'm already booed up.
Then why did you do the UGA Marriage Pact?
I don't know, for fun.
Oh, okay, but any potential boos this Valentine's Day?
No.
With your friends, Galentine's Day?
Yes, me and my roommate were doing a Galentine's Day. Yes.
Can I come?
Duh.
Yay.
Looks like we've got some pretty loyal students here at UGA. I don't know about me, but I'll be celebrating Valentine's Day this year.
That was absolute gold from our reporter, Tristan Bird. But that's all we have time for tonight. I'm Alana Jacob.
And I'm Thanvi Gujral. This has been Grady Newsource, and we'll see you all on Monday at 5.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckle tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
We had a lot going on, trying a lot of different things. We'll get to all the details later. I would say deets because that would be cool like Sitch, but I'm not. We have some pretty important people here, some people that are important to you all, and some people that are going to give you some really expert critique, okay? So please listen up because they're here for you all. So I'm going to let each one of you introduce yourselves, tell us the company you're with, and please give us your honest critique. And we'll start with you, Senator.
Sure. Hi, I'm Sanan Sadar with Hearst Television, and we own stations from New England down through SEC country all the way out to California. I was a reporter, I was a producer, used to be a news director. So look, there's a lot for you to be proud of. Like, you took a really big chance really early in the semester, and largely it really did work out. You're great. I don't know if you're a producer, yeah, but I will tell you, they cheerleading them, all that other stuff, telling us to shut up, absolutely. I mean, you said it real nice and southern-wise, but yeah, we knew what you meant. It was great, and really controlling the thing, and also like rallying them and giving people instructions. Like you were in the booth, I think it was really good. I mean, that was a lot to handle. The only thing I'd really add is like, especially if you're having an anchor, field anchor, when it gets to the end, give them something, like 20 seconds worth of content or some sort of reader so they button it out and close it. But it's really, you really tried some things. My friends will talk about the intros a little later. So that was pretty good. I cannot recommend to you, so obviously, for obvious reasons, hot mics, we couldn't hear the packages. And I would recommend that you do the same every once in a while with whatever video you have and you shoot as a story, and just turn off the sound. Because I will tell you, I had a very, very good idea of what your story was about. Like, I didn't need the words. I was like, got it. I know what that's about. Other stories, you got to put sound and words together. It was a little not as strong. Particularly, and we're just talking about the A block. In the beginning, and before I bore you all to tears with more, we do have pizza, so you kind of got to listen, and candy. Look, it's a very tricky thing when you're shooting buildings or art, and you do not use a tripod. So buildings and art have vertical and horizontal lines, and if you're not steady, it really, really shows up. Yeah, I know it's a pain. Throw it on real quick. But yeah, particularly buildings and particularly certain kinds of art. I mean, it's literally like like the grid forms on TV, and then you see it float, and that's all you can see. But really, you should be proud. Early in the semester, you pushed a lot of things, you tried a lot of stuff, and that's great. That's great. This is my colleague, Richard.
Yeah. I think I already have a mic, so okay. I can pass it down. I already have a mic. All right, there you go. Yeah, I was lucky enough to get a lavalier mic. Hi, I'm Richard Ochoa. Yeah, I'm also with Hearst. I work at WJCL in Savannah, Georgia. Yeah, so I think it's incredible because when I was y'all's age, was not doing anything like this. It took me probably a couple years after college to even try to produce anything like this. And I worked up the producer ranks. I'm now the assistant news director over at JCL. Like I said, I think it was I think you did push the envelope, as Sinan was saying, with something innovative. I also liked the end piece where we were talking about the, oh gosh, what was that? The Mayor's Pact. One, we were like, what the heck is that? What the heck is that? But then, and that was a theme in terms of using sound as the driver of a lot of y'all's stories. That was one thing that we, fundamentally sometimes have an issue with some of the reporters that we have on our staff. I'm always telling them we need to talk to regular people out there because I think we maybe talked to a couple of like officials and congressfolk, whoever it might be, but it was really leaning in on real people, students, things like that. And I think that was a nice touch and something that I really noticed when I was watching.
All right, I'm Will Dillard. I also work with Hearst. I'm the news director at WYF4 in Greenville, South Carolina. Echoing what these guys said, you guys should all be very proud of your work. I think you did a very nice job today. Producers had great command. I thought the anchors did well. I thought the reporters did well. I would say probably my biggest critique, and I love the fact that you guys broke the format and started out here. Don't ever feel like you have to stick to a rundown template, unless your professors say so. But it is, the template can really be a killer of creativity sometimes. So, have those conversations, think it through, see what it's going to look like before you just throw it on television, but by all means continue to flex those creative muscles and do things differently. Intros. Just about every reporter here, as I give you a piece of real world advice, had an intro that was probably 4 times as long as it should have been. Our reporters, Sinan likes to use the analogy, you guys have a very good football team here, of a 3-step drop, right? That ball is in and out in about 3 seconds, right? When I was in Savannah and was working with a lot of folks directly out of school, it was one line and get to your package, right? You're trying to get good at it. And the best way to get good at it is to not talk your way through it. It's to make it short, concise, boom, get to the story. And the producers will be a fan because that means they can get more content in their shows. But you know, I understand the sort of the forum type of format you were trying to do, and that lends itself to things being a little longer sometimes. But I think one of the things that folks on air fail to realize, and our folks do it in our market in Greenville, well, I've got people who've been doing this 20, 30 years, right? When you get in those ad lib type of situations, you are always talking about 4 times as long as you think you are, right? And you think about attention spans today, Vine didn't last. It was 6 seconds, right? You know, think of how fast you scroll through a video on TikTok or a reel on Instagram if it's not interesting. That's what you're combating every single day, while, you know, we're not out here dancing and trying to do some silly trick that gets people's attention. We're trying to give them real world information. So keep those intros tight, keep them quick, but you guys are doing a really, really nice job. I was really impressed.
Gene Kirkconnell, News Director, WKRG Mobile. That's the Next Star station. Thanks for letting us sit in today. I concur with everything these gentlemen have said previously. What I would ask you guys to do in reference to the experiment that you tried out here today was, if you can, go back and watch the replay, and if you participated in that sequence, either producing it or delivering it, what I would ask you to do is compare what you were feeling when you were doing news in conversation to maybe perhaps presenting a more clean, economical, and direct traditional intro. Now, what I'm encouraging you to do is celebrate what just happened out here, because what I saw was glimpses of you all as people. And if you're intending to present material on camera, everybody, well, not everybody, but many people will censor themselves, and they will think, oh, I have to meet a certain requirement or a certain standard way that every news anchor does it everywhere I've ever seen before. You're not going to get to show the magic pixie dust that is you if you are playing somebody else's game. Now, granted, there are certain conventions that are required of what we do to deliver and hit our meter clicks and be economical and attract people and get them in and keep them flowing through a newscast. But go back and watch that and remember what you felt, because there were some moments of magic all through that. You want to be able to capture that and do it in 20 seconds instead of 45. So there were some really good lessons there for you guys. I applaud you for taking a risk and pulling it off in a really, really good way.
You guys were kind of trying to learn or practice the 3-party conversation thing, which is like one person here, and you're trying to balance that out. And everybody's had great comments, stuff like that. Just remember, the camera is the most important person. So if that's the person, however, let's say we're having this conversation and he's the camera, they get the dominant amount, but you're always never ignoring. Just like if we're all having this conversation, as I'm turning and looking and making sure like everybody feels included, that was one thing. But you guys really were, like, to his point, like, the camera never blinks. If you're not authentic, oh, it'll catch it. It'll catch it. It just does, because it never turns off. And you know that from the people you watch on wherever, on whatever format and stuff like that. You're like, yeah, you're faking it. Come on. Yeah, but that was the one thing. I thought it was an interesting, and it's a good conversation to have, but really it's a 3-party conversation, and the camera, because it represents so many people behind it, is by far the most important.
Yeah, and just echoing on that, you know, it's I always like to think of it either like a fireplace chat or maybe something at like a dinner where there's always a third party that's watching, which is the camera. I think one thing that could also help if we're having something more long form is maybe incorporate like question and answers, where the anchor would ask a question, then that allows the reporter to then bring in an answer which could be a little bit longer, but the intro, to Will's point over here, is you still keep that tight. You get to your piece, which should be well produced, it's got sound, it's got nats, etc. And then maybe on the back end, the anchor introduces, hey, we're with so-and-so again. If you watch any of the network stations, they do this all the time. But they ask a question, and then the reporter has another answer, and then we can transition to the next story.
There's a lot of talent in this room. You know, how many shows are you guys in?
This is their 6th.
Okay. And is everybody fresh to this experience, or have they done it previous semesters? No, you guys are off and running. You guys are off and running. So, you know, what I would offer to you guys, especially you guys, I mean, there's some naturalness coming out there. Y'all have got something to work with there. There's some sparks, you know, there's some stuff that makes you guys stand out. So handle the scripting, right? So I would say both of you have some natural ability as communicators, and there is that levity, or not levity, there's a spark coming out of both of you guys, and you're comfortable in your own skin as you're presenting, and you're willing to take some chances today in the scripts away from traditional formatting. Like, didn't you say gold on that was awesome. That was awesome when you did that. And who called out him in the intro? Okay, so you guys took a few risks, but I don't know if y'all heard it, but in the room went wild when you did both of those things, right? And so I would say, if you're speaking to other students on campus who are watching this, and honestly, you know, the old fuddy-duddy who says, get off my lawn, I mean, you hit a home run with some of that stuff. So a lot of times in a newsroom, people will self-censor. They will think, well, I can't really go that far. I'm not used to seeing the network guys do that, so I need to make it more formal, and I need to get stiff. And what I often tell reporters in our room and anchors in our room is, I want you to go too far and have me reel you in, because you don't know what the handles are on the outside brackets of that thing you're trying to get apart. So you're not sure how wide the envelope is, and if you don't ever exercise the envelope, now I'm not saying to take wild chances on air, I'm saying rep it off camera and get feedback from the news managers in here, from Doty, but push the envelope and push it to the point where you're breaking it and they're saying, 20% off the top on that, okay? And then go rep it on air, because there's some gold there, and for both you guys and everybody else who is out there talking out here, and you man, by the time y'all get to the end of the semester, you can dial some cool stuff in. Is that fair to wait?
Yeah, that's right. Of course, yeah. Because I was like, yeah. Because you were. My family has a number of people involved in that kind of thing. I was like, yeah, now this may be their first or second newscast, but that ain't the first or second time y'all are on stage. And it was really good, and it really shows, and it's really if you have time left in school, I would strongly recommend that as a thing, because they can explain it to you. You'll know how to stand. You'll know a number of things, and that was pretty evident, and in a good way. Immediately, like I was like, oh yeah, I know, okay. It just helps. It's just like because you get breathing exercises, anyway. It's a really good thing, and if you can get some like community college classes of singing is actually the #1 best thing, but theater and other stuff is great. It just gives you presence and ability, and that was pretty evident. You did well. That's why I was like, oh yeah, I know what they did. It's good. It's very good. You should be proud. You're applying those skills.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I'm back. The writing in packages and in scripts. I thought today the writing was really, really good, especially considering this is only your 6th newscast that you've done. One of the things I like to coach even some of my reporters now in Greenville who have been doing this a long time is, when you go back, I think Snod had a great point about watching your packages in silence. Look for gaps in your packages. Like if you're watching it in silence and you go more than like 5-6 seconds without hearing sound from a real person, you probably need to go back and edit that. I used to challenge our younger folks in Savannah, when you write a package, go back and eliminate 1/3 of your track, right? It becomes a much more efficient package, a tighter package, and you'll be surprised like how skilled you become at self-editing. Because it's really, really important. The biggest thing with younger reporters and even producers who are writing VOs is, you try to write your way out of a story, and that's never the way to do it. You want to make sure you have good sound. I thought you guys had a really good job of getting actual real people and not officials for your sound. So really good stuff. But I would challenge each of you, when you write a package, go back and eliminate 1/3 of your track and see how much tighter and more efficient your story gets while still being able to make the same point.
Do you want us to bring the food in? Because that pizza's getting awfully cold. Okay.
Let me make one comment on the tail end of that. I was speaking with you about your interviews, and so what I did notice in a couple of the original sound bites is the what and the why, right? So when you're shopping for sound bites, sometimes you're shopping for what sound bites. You need to always be shopping for why sound bites. Now, what do I mean? A what sound bite is a sound bite that relays information. You might even be able to put that under video and narrate what's happening in the video sequences. A lot of times, you as a reporter can paraphrase the what soundbite and really cut it down to 1/3 of what is said in a what soundbite. A why soundbite is your gold. That you can't say that. That's when you see 2 eyes, 2 ears, and the person you're interviewing is not talking about what I do. They're talking about why I do what I do. And their lip trembles or the tear falls halfway, and you get into their heart, not their head. You can't say that in a track. Always be trying to get at least one why soundbite out of your subjects, and that's the soundbite you super and you put up, and you can paraphrase and be more economical writing the what, unless you're doing a photo essay and you want to narrate their own story under Nats. But so shop for what, shop for why, pick the why, and write from your best video to the why soundbite, then pick it up again and write to the next why soundbite.
Thank you. So, should I just pass this around, or who wants to start with a question? All right, Tanvi, and then if you'll pass it over to DeAndre.
First of all, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all your critiques on the show. I want to ask, what is the best way to really get in the industry? Like, if we're for the seniors, I think everyone here is a senior, mostly everyone. What should that process look like? Is it best to build a good demo reel, or what do you suggest?
Internships, attending job fairs, things like that, why we're here. Like I said, there's a multitude of different ways. Go to our QR code. That's a subtle.
Okay, the sort of universal answer is build a website, like a Wix or something that's free. If you want to spend money, Squarespace is very simple and really good, solid templates. So we'll start with the producers. Totally crucial to have that, because what are we going to ask for? Like writing samples, we're going to ask for like an entire A block. It's going to be a number of little elements of that. So you can, and there's various things you can do to cut down, but I'm going to tell you the thing that will, you will get a job if you do this. So get your phone and set it up in the booth and record yourself boothing and handling a show. Do picture-in-picture with the show. I promise you, it does not matter if the show is garbage, because how you handled it under fire. I'll tell you, on a recruit we lost out from Syracuse University. We talked to her, all this other stuff. She did that. I'd given her this advice. She did it. Right out of college was Detroit. And she's doing fine. We stay in touch. It was like, I was like, yeah, I don't got a job in a market that big. Go take it, girl. What do you want me to say? Yeah, that's a lot of money. Do it. Go. Over and over. Never miss. Because, and the couple people that we've hired that have done that, like, I see your process. I see how many things you tried. I see how many times the anchors ignored you or the director or whatever, like all the things. And I was like, because I've been there. I mean, I was a reporter for a while, but I was also a producer. And you're like, you did everything. You tried to land the plane. I don't know what more we can ask anybody. That's your process. So obviously for reporter anchors, and most of you will get some sort of reporting component in your jobs. Again, the reason to have, yes, you have to have sort of a master sample of all my work on YouTube. Don't do Vimeo. It's YouTube. It's fine. It's a Google product. It's everywhere. It's fine. Maybe a minute of stand-ups. Some of them need to be active. So shoot for each other, maybe, like for your bridges and things like that. Give me 3 stories. I mean, I'll tell these, but just, and try to keep the thing under 10 minutes. If your stand-up sequence is like 2 minutes long, okay, like how many different variations of you standing in front of X building on campus do I need? Like, right? Like, just break it up. The advantage of the especially the free ones like Wix and Weebly, is that you could put in like, hey, here's me reading the solo A block, like if you're anchoring. Or if I did a long form thing, right? Like if you did, I'm presuming there's doc classes and all that other stuff. Yeah, I would also, there was somebody, okay, here, you could look up her reel of this. Her name is Adi, A-D-I, Shani, S-C-H-A-N-I-E. She has a specific, she's a very good student out of Western Kentucky. She's literally your contemporary. Yeah, Western Kentucky, I think. She did a social reel, which I thought was really interesting. There are a couple other people that have done that, but Adi's is particularly good. Just take a look. It's on YouTube. It's posted. I thought that was really, and it was very newsy. Like she didn't do like recipes or something, you know, like she did news. But I think that was an important area that old people like me needed to be like slapped in the face with, like, yeah, you're right. We probably need to say, hey, show me some of that. I thought that was a really good idea that I didn't, yeah, that I'd never crossed. But yeah, there are free sites. I'm not encouraging you. We are not, Hearst is a very large company, and I'll tell you that later. We're not like investors in Squarespace or anything like that. Like just Wix, Weebly are free. You can use them, but it's just, it gives you the flexibility, and because of good schools like Grady and other ones, you do so much. Like yes, you're gonna need the marketing material of a reel. And remember, it's an ad for you. It's an ad, so make it really good. But you can hit them with all your stuff in a website. Right? And if they don't like it, then that's fine. You gave it everything you had. That's okay. It's a stranger making an evaluation. Who knows? Go ahead, or whatever. You cover it.
Like Don B said, thank y'all for being here. I guess what I'm asking, I'm always here for like self-improvement. So like with my package, did you like, is there anything that you saw I can improve on, I can do well on, I can add or enhance?
I think the whole crux of it were the boxes, right, that were put on there. I mean, just take a look at how many shots of the boxes there were in there. That was one thing. I thought that I think a lot of that, like it's tough. Like it was trying to be a conversation coming into it, and if we could just expand on what Will was sort of alluding to, generally a live shot, both the beginning and the middle and the end, are 3 thoughts. So just keep winnowing and winnowing and winnowing the thing down. Like, here's the problem, and some people are worried about addressing it, package roles, and then here's 2 elements after that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you just think of, and if you kind of look even in breaking news situations, like where people, like during the plane crashes and things like that, as soon as people started getting past 3 ideas, we started getting into trouble of things that weren't true. Like I was a feature reporter. They used to have those, and then I got assigned to a fire, and that got me to the city hall beat and state government. And it was basically these 3 things that I basically kept repeating over and over again. Hey, this is the neighborhood where this is on fire, right? And you may know it's near a Publix and a Piggly Wiggly and blah, 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 blah. So the where was that? What? Well, look behind me. Those are power lines being burnt from a 3-story tall, fire. And then, the last part is, hey, they're cordoning off these streets to prevent people from getting hurt. And they're trying to get people from out of there. So it's like, where is it? What is it? What you need to know. And that's generally every live shot. Sometimes you got to do that for like 20 minutes during a hurricane or something, but that's generally it. If you just sort of stick in the what I can see and what I know, you're going to be okay. It's going to come out natural. Like, again, like you guys have that theater background. Like, you just like, right? It's like, think about any dialogue and anything. It's always genuine and true to the character. Like, dialogue was good. Right? Stay true to what you know. And just continue, and I'm not just saying that wasn't what you were doing, but if you just sort of use those guideposts, like 3 ideas, what you know, what you see, what the people told you, what didn't make the package, you know, that's also stuff you know. If you stay to that, you're generally going to do okay, because you were there. And we're just sitting and watching it like, I don't know, in an airport lobby or like wherever we're watching it. Like, you're the expert. Believe in your expertise.
Yeah, to ask, because I know at one point, Holly Kate, you were in my ear like, all right, we need to wrap this up. We need to wrap this up. And I was like, kind of frozen, like I didn't know how to cut someone off. And I think I was working with Rachel, and we were talking to someone, and it was great that we got them to talk, but they were just talking for too long. And I just have had consistent trouble trying to cut someone off and kind of like guide the conversation to where it should be going. So my question's about that. Really both.
Right.
How do I cut people off?
You're just stuck with them talking. I'm the child of professors. They don't stop. That's interesting. The colleagues, it's often a book. And sometimes, perhaps because you can tell I can talk a lot, perhaps sometimes the anchors would be like, hey, if you see me adjust my tie, you need to shut up. Like, especially in when you had return monitors and things like that, like sort of, like there's a signal, like you could do the Carol Burnett. There's a woman named Carol Burnett. Anyway, she was on TV a long time ago. But yes. Okay, yeah. She'd say hi to her grandmother by pulling her ear. Like, I know plenty of anchors that would do that. There was a political reporter named Tim Russert. Good question was usually his, this is the last one I can answer because I'm out of stuff. You're like, oh yeah, good question, which was immediately everybody knew he's done. He's like out of stuff to talk about. And you might want to work on that. If they're in the field, that's where the producer comes in. You told people how to shut up. You got to do it to them out there. You're like, you're done. Last sentence. Sometimes like being that cruel and pulling the bit that hard is bad, but you're there. You're responsible for the show. It's not great. You don't feel good about it. Some days. But that's what you got to do. In terms of interviews, that's really tough. If it's emotional and they're dealing with like real personally affecting tragedy, you're gonna stay there. That's just not. We have to be compassionate. I know we have a job.
It's also different between like if you're interviewing somebody for a package, you're interviewing somebody live. Like if it's live and they're giving you good information, don't cut them off because there's nothing that we're going to be able to say that's at the top that people feel about what that person's saying.
Oh, the other one, if it's just a politician blathering on, this is always a good sign.
Yeah.
Just the light touch on the arm because everybody's like, why you touched me? You know why I'm touching you. You know exactly why. Like just don't grab it, but just sort of like,
yeah.
Hi. Time to go. Anyway, go ahead.
No, sometimes it has to be direct. We were doing, this was just earlier this month, we were doing some winter storm coverage up in Greenville, and we're on the air, and we're doing all these live shots, round robin. And our sports director, who's also our 5 p.m. anchor, he does news and sports, was out live, and he's interviewing a guy, and the guy gave some really great sound. And then, Mark kind of turns back toward the camera to kind of wrap it up. And the guy's like, can I just say, and Mark just gave him, nope, we got to go. So sometimes, sometimes it has to be direct, right? And you just make it as smooth as you possibly can. And people at home that are watching, they understand.
Real quick, so Asheville, North Carolina is in the Greenville markets. Asheville's part of Greenville. You want to talk about like some of these things, like what you was talking about, like trying to cut people off or letting people go too long, or are we there you go. You're done.
I love it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate this. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Yahoo!